News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 61 degrees with partly cloudy skies, wind out of the north at around 7 miles per hour. Fog between 2 a.m. and 9 a.m. tonight with an overnight low of 36 and mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow after the fog rolls out, partly sunny with a high near 63. 30% chance of showers Wednesday night with the low of around 47. On Thursday, a high of 63 with mostly cloudy skies, 60% chance of showers on Thursday night. The game is next on News Radio KMAN.
KMAN Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. It's game time. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Barnstable quickly doubled. He'll try to drive out of that and does. Lobs it into the front court and throws it away. 23 seconds to go, and here come the Cats. Here's Castillo to the rim. Layup is good.
Great heads-up play there by David Castillo. K-State was down 5 points, 49 seconds to go. And this Cats team show they got some grit, they got some heart. They got some determination to win games when they're down late. In a Bramlage Coliseum last night, a Tulsa team picked to finish third in the American. Cats win it 84-83 to get to 4-0 on the season. Welcome to the game. Mitch Fortner, Cole Dutchendorf. We're going to hang out with you for a couple of hours. We'll take it to 6 o'clock, and coming up at 6, pregame coverage of Kansas State women's basketball. They're going to be hosting the Troy Trojans out of the Sun Belt for a 6:30 tip-off. Hopefully, Nastia Claessens will be back from Belgium after her training camp with the Belgian national team. And this K-State team will get back on track. But I fully expect this Troy team to give K-State a challenge tonight. They've picked up – they're undefeated. They got 3 wins on the year, and they've looked pretty good at times in those wins this year.
Yeah, I was grinding the Troy tape earlier, seeing what they had to offer. They look like they got some shooters, and they can spread you out a little bit. So they do look solid. Well,
again, that pregame coverage is at 6, tip it off at 6:30. Meanwhile, K-State men's basketball last night had their last home game before they play in Kansas City for the Hall of Fame Classic. And coming up on today's show in the second hour, we'll discuss more big picture, what we've learned about K-State so far through the first 4 games of the season. Regular season, undefeated, 4-0. Couple of close calls in the last 2 games where three-point shooting has come down. K-State has played against some tougher defense, more physical games. And in this first hour as well, of course, we're going to talk about this win from last night. But Jabroni of the week as well. Hour 2, we're going to hear from Linkon Cure. K-State tight end spoke to the media yesterday. It was a rare opportunity to talk to Linkon as a whole group of the media spoke with him yesterday. I'd imagine some questions are going to come in, so questions and comments, 785-537-1350 is the number to text, the number to call. Either way you want to do it, that's the direct line to get a hold of us, and we can address your concerns or your comments, your questions. Again, that phone number is 785-537-1350. Well, the play you heard was that David Castillo game winner as the Cats got a steal. It was a bad pass. Miles Barnstable was getting some full court pressure from the Cats, and he ends up just kind of throwing the ball in the air at half court. He was trying to blame it on some miscommunication, putting the hands up in here and over there. What happened? And then the Red Sea parted, as David said after the game, and he takes it to the hoop for K-State to take the 1-point lead. Boy, we saw K-State, despite having a tough night from 3, score 84 points. There are a lot of good things, certainly a number of bad things that I take away from this game. I'm still kind of left feeling like I'm still not quite sure about this team. They have fully been challenged, especially like all game last night. Like let's talk about what Tulsa took away from K-State last night. Their 3-point shooting. Like they were contesting. They read up the scouting report. They watched the film on K-State. They were ready to guard the 3-point line. K-State had to take some deeper threes. They had to pick and choose where they shot. They had to force up some shots sometimes. And K-State only made 5. Last 2 games, they've made 14 total. Well, the 2 previous games of that, they made 14 in each game against Bellarmine and UNC Greensboro, 9 against Cal, 5 last night against Tulsa. And Tulsa never allowed K-State to get out and run. Both in on the floor in transition is one of them. They did a handful of times, but not as much. K-State did get out and run, but I would say as well, Tulsa did not allow K-State to really, what I mean by run as in build that 10-0 run, 12-14-0 run that we've seen K-State put together. Tulsa allowed K-State to go on a 6-0 run at one point in that game. That was the longest run K-State had.
And that was to end the game.
Yeah, in the entire game, and that was to end the game. Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah, that was with 18 seconds to go when David scored the game winner. So again, I'm kind of left with thinking how good is this K-State team? Because we know they need to get better. But when K-State is still showing improvements on defense, which I wouldn't call it great, but they're showing improvements, I'm almost seeing more, really my takeaways are individual stuff. But the biggest individual story for this team is we now saw what PJ Haggerty, what the guy can do when K-State offensively is not having their best night. And the guy's a dog. The guy's an absolute dog. K-State was struggling from 3. All right, the offense is, we're going to run some motion stuff, some ball screens here and there, top the key or on the wings. Get the ball to PJ when shots aren't open. Let him go downhill. Let him go draw some fouls. Got a lot to say about PJ Haggerty, but Cole, we saw last night, K-State just have a fist fight with Tulsa pretty much all night. When I would say last year's team probably would have folded. This year's team, they figured it out. They figured out how to win.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I think if you take everything is the same and you just put last year's roster in place for this game, and they get down 5 points late in the fourth quarter, but also get down, 4-6 early in the second half as well. I think it was right after maybe the first media timeout was when Tulsa opened up the 53-49 lead. I think last year's team probably folds. And I think that there's a definite mentality difference between this year's team and last year's team. And it's tough to compare both teams because they're just completely different. I mean, it's not like there's a ton of carryover from last year. It's basically Doug McDaniel. I guess you could throw Taj Manning in there, or not Doug McDaniel, David Castillo and Taj Manning. But even David is a completely different player this year, it looks like, than he was last year, just playing with a ton more confidence, which you saw on the last play of the game, but also continuing throughout the game. I mean, the first shot he made, I'm just kind of sitting there how in the world, A, did he think that was a good shot, B, that he made it, and then, again, just the confidence to go up amongst a couple of posts and get that shot, kind of flip it up, the circus shot, and get it to go down. So he's just playing with a ton of confidence right now. You can tell that for sure. But I do think the mentality is a lot different for this team. I think Nate Johnson is, you said it's a team full of, you said PJ Haggerty is a dog. I think Nate Johnson is a dog. I think he is willing to do some of the dirty work, and he didn't score a ton of points last night, but he had a big stretch in the beginning in the first half where he had a 3 and then a layup, or maybe it was vice versa. It's just a team that didn't have a we're going to quit now mentality. They continued to play intense defense late in that second half. I think there were a couple of possessions where really K-State played it okay defensively. It was just a terrific shot. One of them was Barnstable, who hit the fadeaway 3 over Abdi, who isn't the best defender, but you can tell the effort's at least there. And then the last one where Kamari McGriff was in the area, and I don't remember who was on the ball, but the last layup for Tulsa, again, guarded decently, just happened to get both of those to go. And then down 5 to stare that and get a quick 2, or I believe it was PJ getting fouled. And then you get a stop, and then you get another quick 2 with PJ, who You saw his strength there, and then obviously the ultimate stop, the steal, and then getting out and running. It was an impressive resolve, I thought, from the team late in the game.
Well, there you mentioned it right there at the end. What's the marquee? What's the headline of this game? It's what Jerome Tang called a championship point, which is like it's like their gap code. It's their gimmick for the team of encouragement to get the stop, go get a bucket, go get another stop. That's how you win championships. That's what Jerome Tang was really fired up with after the game.
We trust everybody on the team. This was about something we work every day in practice. Get a stop, get a score, get a stop. That we call that a championship point. I love that. This is what this is about. Go Cats!
Fired up about the win. No doubt about that. They talked about it in the postgame press conference, like that exact scenario that happened in the final minute of last night's game. They worked on in practice the day before, that exact same scenario. And they were able to figure it out of the way. I don't know how well it went in practice, but they were getting some championship points. What's the better basketball gimmick, the championship point or the gap goat? I think we need a mascot now for championship point.
We do.
Point parrot.
I like that.
Point puppy.
And they really went score, stop, score, stop, score, stop, stop, because they had to get 2 stops on the last possession, and they went on a 6-0 run. So they had a couple of points in there.
Boy, these referees missed a lot of calls.
It was a rough refereed game for both teams, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that as well, I suppose.
There were some definite inconsistencies over the course of the game, for sure.
If I could maybe complain about a couple of things here real quick. You mentioned Nate Johnson. Nate has a lot more to his game that he's not getting to. And this is something I've noticed here in the last couple of games where, remember when he was at Akron, he was the player of the year in the MAC, he was the defensive player of the year. Mostly we've seen him when he's making these plays for K-State offensively, scoring the basketball, it's shooting the threes where he's getting these runouts. The defense gets a stop, there's a run out. I think that's where we've mostly seen his speed show off. And I've mentioned his speed a ton of times already. I've loved that about his game. But what he's missing right now from his game offensively is getting to the hoop. He was 2/3 of the time his shooting was coming from the inside the arc. And comparable to PJ, he could get to the free throw line. He shot a ton of free throws last year. He was getting there 6 or 7 times per game, if I remember correctly. And he's not really going to the free throw line right now. So, boy, if Nick could find a way to get more aggressive, get more downhill, he could play that game. I just don't know why he's not there quite yet. But he's still a major impact to this game. I love the game of Nate Johnson. I want to make that loud and clear. And I've spoken about him multiple times, and he continues to impress me. He was a good example of, okay, so offensively he didn't have his best night. After previously he had really great nights. I was like, holy cow, what a compliment to Abdi, who's going to, you hope he gets double figures every night. PJ scoring in double figures. Another complimentary case to the offense, no doubt about it, is Kamari McGriff. Nate Johnson, you expect him to come in and score. It was immediate impact. It felt like it was on another level, for sure. But he finishes with 5 points, but he's still filling up the box score. 9 rebounds, draws a couple of fouls, 4 assists. He had a steal, just 1 turnover. That is pretty major for this team. Kamari McGriff is much more of a scorer than I thought he was going to be. His rebounding hadn't been very good. That's getting better. I called it a complaint, but that's why I want Nate Johnson to go. I worry about the 4, but also one of my main concerns, and I'm really getting sick of it, is I'm tired of guys not boxing out.
Yeah, that was rough.
What a major factor that was in the first half. Tulsa is grabbing a ton of offensive rebounds. Their putback numbers and offensive rebound numbers, they're killing K-State. They're crashing the boards, and nobody's finding a guy in boxing him out. That is just, to me, that is inexcusable. And why is that not being emphasized? Why is that not being addressed? Why is that not getting better? We're seeing them get better in other areas, but if you just can't simply not box out, that's going to help you rebound a whole lot better, especially if Tulsa's not going to retreat after the first shot, and they're going to go after an attack like they did in the first half. That's going to kill you. That's why Tulsa was in the game. Tulsa in K-State, in my opinion, played contrast games to what they had been doing earlier in this year. Tulsa was a much better three-point shooting team, so was K-State. Both teams were not great defensively. They were better, and I thought Tulsa was pretty decent. Even though they gave up 84 points, K-State is a scoring team. Their guarding of the ball handler was a lot better than what I had seen on film. K-State's offense was really slow to get going a lot of the time, especially if he had the ball in the hands like David Castillo. He really stood and held the basketball. So I think this is one where you look at this film, and luckily K-State got out there with a win. You got to get back to the drawing board after this game because there's obviously now clearly a lot of things K-State still needs to work on and get better with. They need to play better basketball as this schedule is about to really get tougher.
And I said this before hearing Coach Tang's press conference. You'd much rather have lessons to learn from a win than a loss. And so for them to be able to eke it out in the end, you can feel better about, hey, at least we got this win. We didn't lose to Tulsa at home. But now let's go back, as you said, to the drawing board and try to fix some of these things because that was certainly a problem. There is still plenty of blow-bys. That was an issue for a couple of players throughout the game last night, and that's kind of been the theme of the season defensively is just guys getting a lot of space just with a couple of dribbles and really not even any fancy dribble moves, just being quicker off the bounce than K-State can be defensively. And that was the same thing for Abdi and Andre Kostic, which has been the theme, but also a couple times where PJ got beat off of the ball. So definitely a lot of stuff still to work on, but it's, again, you would much rather work on those things after getting a tough, grinded-out win than a loss.
K-State's defense regressed in the second half. I thought Tulsa was getting some good looks in the paint. They were making some tougher shots. I thought that was back-to-back games. I did think in the second half the opponent was the tougher team. That you could easily say that with how the score turns out and the other team winning the second half. But they made tougher shots. They were more aggressive as a team than K-State was as a team. That's just another thing, obviously, that needs to be worked on for K-State. They still need to get better. I mean, this isn't a. This probably means nothing, but Joe Lenardi, looks at K-State as a team that's not in the NCAA tournament right now. So, but it's still hard to tell exactly how good this team is going to be. But let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about the star player because K-State had 4 players in double figures. PJ Haggerty is doing some things right now that I'm gonna give you some names here as we go to break to think about. PJ's doing things that we haven't seen from since Michael Beasley, Denny Clemente, Askia Jones, and even going back to the late 50s, things we haven't seen since Bob Boozer was on the floor for K-State. Boy, it sounds like PJ's worth that bag. PJ coming up next here on The Game.
You're in the game on News Radio KMAN.
Whether it's game day or a night out with great live music, Bottle Cap Sports Bar delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen.
Jeff Collier was Kansas's 47th governor and the Kansas chairman of Donald Trump's 2024 campaign. There's a reason President Trump said Jeff Collier was one hell of a governor. Collier cut taxes, eliminated wasteful spending, and created record jobs. He stood with law enforcement and kept our communities safe. And he took on the radical liberals to protect life and our religious liberty. Jeff Collier will always advance the America First agenda.
I'm Jeff Collier. As your governor, more Kansans were working than ever before. I took a scalpel to wasteful spending, and with law enforcement, we kept our communities safe. I stood shoulder to shoulder with President Trump to get the job done.
A man of incredible integrity and class, your governor, Jeff Collier. Jeff is a great guy. He's doing a really incredible job. You have one hell of a governor.
Let's keep fighting for what's right. Let's put America and Kansas first.
Paid for by Kansas First Inc. Gary Harshberger, Treasurer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the holidays. In this corner, the challengers, lacing up their boots, scanning the clues, ready to rumble, the Hunters. And in the other corner, the reigning and defending champion of the holidays, the legendary Jingle Bell Rock, who will conquer the cold and claim the gold.
It's almost time for the biggest, brightest, merriest event of the year. The hunt for the G. Thomas Jewelers Godfrey's Indoor Ranges and Tactical Supply Jingle Bell Rock is about to begin. Celebrate the season with the longest running Shop Local campaign. For a shot at bragging rights, glory, and thousands of dollars in cash and prizes. Clues start Monday, December 1st. This could be the year you find the G. Thomas Jewelers Godfrey's Indoor Ranges and Tactical Supply Jingle Bell Rock.
Break in all the benefits of fall at Blueville Nursery. Fall is the perfect time to plant trees, shrubs, and perennials. Warmer soil temps and cooler air temps give plants just what they need to thrive and reduce stress next summer. Plant fall bulbs to get an early dose of color next spring. Don't forget to apply fertile and winterizer to your lawn. Blueville Garden Store is open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 4. Come give us a visit at Blueville Nursery, where you'll always find the friendly smile and expert advice. Located at the corner of Scenic Drive and Anderson and Manhattan.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
If you've missed the Kim Commando Show, you've missed a lot.
Yeah, they forced Claude to unlearn all the information it got from the pirated technology.
And it's a $1.5 billion landmark settlement. A reader from the current newsletter sent me a note. He put his name in. He made $6,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, not bad for getting a free newsletter.
America's digital goddess.
Kim Commando. Kim Commando. Saturday mornings at 9 on News Radio KMAN.
I'm Cole Dutchendorf with the Game Sports Update, brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. It was a nearly heartbreaking Bramlage Monday night, but Kansas State's men's basketball team escaped an upset threat from Tulsa after its defense delivered in the final moments, pulling out an 84-83 win. Tulsa took its largest lead at 83-78 with 49 seconds left, but the Hurricanes wouldn't score again. K-State's defense forced 2 turnovers, sparking a 6-0 run to close the night, including the game-winning layup from David Castillo. After the game, Coach Tang said he wants the team to embrace this kind of game.
The whole game, I kept saying, okay, like we got to embrace this competitive fight. In the huddles, talking to the guys, just embrace the competitive fight. We got to love this. We got to love these kind of games because these games like really tell you who you are. They show who you are.
Junior guard PJ Haggerty led the team in scoring with 31 points, adding 10 rebounds as well. As a team, K-State went 5 of 24 from behind the arc and shot 44% from the field, going 19 of 21 from the free throw line. K-State will now head to KC for its first stretch away from Bramlage, opening the Hall of Fame Classic against Mississippi State at 8:30 Thursday at T-Mobile Center. K-State women's basketball wraps up its 4-game homestand tonight, hosting Troy in Bramlage Coliseum with tip at 6:30, pregame at 6 on News Radio KMAN and Sunny 102.5.
What's this?
Oh, you don't know? I thought you might know this one.
I mean, I recognize I just don't know who it is.
This is Forever from Drake and Lil Wayne, and Kanye and Eminem.
You thought I would know that?
This is like kind of your era, I think. This is an old song. 15 years old.
What?
Yeah.
I wasn't listening to this in the club.
I guess not. This is more, it's about LeBron James, I believe.
Got some messages during the last segment and also during the break. Just some ideas for the K-State championship point mascot, as K-State has the Gap Goat championship point. Animal names that start with a P. I threw out puppy earlier. I don't remember what else I threw out there. The Point Puma, which Puma's a cat, right?
It is.
I think you need to go. I thought about this during the break, as that's all the recommendations coming in, because somebody threw out platypus, and that's an ugly animal.
The point platypus?
I was thinking the point panda. Pandas are awesome.
I don't hate that.
Pandas are funny. Panda is probably my favorite animal.
Really?
It's probably my spirit animal.
Big bamboo guy?
Yeah. Yeah. And goofballs, funny.
Sure.
Scared kind of easily.
They do.
Yeah.
There's some great clips of just some pandas being scared, man.
I love a good rabbit hole of just watching pandas do goofy things.
I think we know what the office activity tomorrow afternoon will be.
We're just going to watch panda videos?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Speaking of tomorrow, we'll have K-State Online on. We're going to have a beat writer from Mississippi State on to talk about Kansas City because that's K-State's next game. That's Thursday against the Bulldogs, who have had an interesting start to say the least. They just lost to Iowa State. Some really close games, some ugly games against probably some bad teams. We'll talk more about that later on this week on Wednesday and on Thursday. Remember the game NBA Jam? I grew up with NBA Jam, Sega, it was on Super Nintendo. I remember it on PlayStation. In little contrast to what the Bulls were in real life, I mean, the number one guy was Michael Jordan, of course. But the real baller in NBA Jam was Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was a cheat code. Unstoppable. Would start a little sloppy, but then would get real good, and that's P.J. Haggerty, I think, so far. P.J. Haggerty has slow starts to the game. Probably some ill-advised takes that lead into some bad passes, early turnovers, and plus has flirted with foul trouble, and that's because of that early first foul. That's happened the last couple of games. But with that being said, P.J. Haggerty is an absolute dog. Remember when he decided to go to K-State and the reports started to come out of about what his deal is here at K-State as an NIL deal, what he's going to make? And if I remember correctly, it was $2.5 million.
With incentives? With the
incentives. So it's a base of $2 million, and then an incentive, there's bonuses that he can get that would add on an extra $500,000. This guy's playing like he's got some incentives to reach. Yeah. He's got some goals to make.
Yes.
The numbers are right now for PJ, they're through the roof. I mean, I mentioned some players before the break about who he's kind of like, he's doing things we haven't seen K-State do in a while. Like this should be a season where you're looking at the record book after every game. All right, what did K-State do tonight offensively? Oh, this guy had this. What does that rank in history? That's probably up there. It's got to be. That's a great performance. And so far through 4 games, I mean, we are seeing those kind of things happen. And I said, PJ, I didn't think was honestly K-State's best player. He was just the guy that needed to go win the game for K-State, and he needed to do it throughout the second half. I mean, he only had 4 points at halftime. He went on to score 31 points in the game. 31 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals in 32 minutes. So almost a point a minute. And he was 10 of 17 from the field, 11 of 12 from the free throw line. That was the first 30-10 double-double we had seen from K-State since Michael Beasley against Colorado in March of 2008. And Beasley did that a handful of times. That wasn't his only 30-10 double-double in a Wildcat uniform. But how about this as well? 27 points in the second half. He was 8 of 13 from the field. All his free throws were in the second half. And the 27 points, the 5th most by a Wildcat in a half. In a half since Denny Clemente. 32 points against Texas in 2009. But if I were to just go, hey, that was in the second half, most points in a second half by a Cat since Michael Beasley during the non-con in 2007. But that was the 4th best second half performance by a Wildcat all time.
It's not bad.
All time. I mentioned Michael Beasley. The other 2 players, Ski Jones, when he scored 62 against Fresno State, and then the Denny Clemente game against Texas in 2009. Ski had 45 points, Denny had 32 points, and Beasley with 28.
Pretty good company to be in, I think.
I mean, your era Cole, of K-State basketball hadn't seen a performance like that. The free throw shooting, I mean, good Lord. I mean, right now, Michael Beasley holds the record for most in a season. 216 right now. PJ Haggerty, he's 36 of 43. Great clip. He's on pace for 333 free throws. I love a guard, especially a point guard, that can get downhill, is a tough guard and can make tough shots. He's not the only on the team as well. Like, the next player that comes to mind that has just really impressed me about his game evolving, it's an easy answer. It's obviously David Castillo. His three-point shooting is one thing. The way he's been able to score contested shots in the paint, to me, that's the big jump. To me, that's a next level of toughness. That's a kid that got in the weight room. He started lifting heavy things. He saw his confidence grow on the floor as well in practice and in the spring and in the fall, getting some shots up, being more of a competitor, being more tough. That's already paying off, and he's been one of K-State's best scorers to start the year. But PJ has now scored at least 20 points in 4 straight games. You know what the record is at K-State? 5. Michael Beasley did it for the first 5 games, and then he ran into the very dangerous Ryder Bronx and scored just 13 points. Bob Boozer is the only other player in program history to score 20 points in the first 4 games. K-State couldn't have beaten, and I hate to say this because this is kind of the downside to this, K-State doesn't beat Tulsa without PJ Haggerty. Without PJ Haggerty taking over. Without PJ Haggerty playing his game and being a warrior at the rim. He scored 31 points without making a 3.
It only took 2.
Yeah, he hasn't been much of a three-point shooter so far. He's made a few.
Which is kind of what you expected from him coming in, was to be a downhill kind of guard, get to the free throw line, get out in transition, and hit a lot of mid-range shots.
Every free throw he took was on a shooting foul. Like, he was getting the shot up, and he was getting to the hoop. He's a tough guard. So if I ask the question, is PJ Haggerty certainly worth the bag? I would say absolutely. And I know it kind of, I don't know if it worried people necessarily about throwing more money at a big-time player because we saw what happened with Coleman Hawkins, but Coleman was out of his comfort zone. Coleman was asked to do things that wasn't in his identity. He needed to be the guy. He's not the guy. He's never the number one player on the team. PJ Haggerty is, you bring him in to be that number one guy. I mean, if you ask me, for $2.5 million, they got a steal on PJ Haggerty. Well, I would assume there was more money out there for him, but he felt K-State was the best spot.
Well, and the reports were like he was asking for 4 or something. Like that was when
that's right.
That was when the whole NC State getting what's his face from Texas Tech and that entire process where it was like, okay, well, if they got him, then maybe K-State can lay in PJ because we know he's in the portal and they kind of need that top dog. They had already filled out a pretty decent transfer class. That was, you already had Abdi and Nate Johnson and Kamari, and then you get him and you're like, okay, well, like I said, I'm ready to get hurt again. And you've seen that has been very worth the money through 4 games. He's been really good. And again, I go back to just the mentality that he had. He was a killer last night when there wasn't a whole lot going well around him offensively outside of a couple of players. By the way, Kamari McGriff, I've really liked him early in this season. He played another very clean game last night, at least on the offensive side of the floor. But going back to it, that outside of Kamari, consistent offense was tough to come by. I mean, Abdi hit a couple of shots. That was kind of up and down because his minutes weren't the most consistent in the world. Andre didn't play a ton. David had 12 points, but was just 1 of 5 from 3. So again, just inconsistency across the roster in terms of where offense was coming from. And it seemed like possession in, possession out. It was PJ getting the ball down low and drawing contact and getting the foul, or PJ getting out in transition, or PJ using a screen and getting a good shot off. It was just a lot of ball-dominant and just saying, give me the rock and let me go to work, and he did just that. And that's a great mentality. You have to have that kind of killer mentality from at least one player on the roster to make you feel confident and comfortable in crunch time, so that even when you are down 5, all right, give it to PJ, and what's he do? He scores 4 straight points to get it within striking distance. So he was really impressive last night, and you've said it a couple times over the past couple of weeks, I don't think we've seen the full level of PJ. I mean, that first half, 4 points, and there was a couple of turnovers where it didn't look like he was completely comfortable. So if this is him uncomfortable in the beginning of the season, could be a pretty fun season to watch for him specifically.
If I were to give you a list of guys that we haven't seen their full potential yet, I'm probably going to give you the entire almost the entire roster. Now, I'm not trying to be offensive or anything, but like Doreen Buka, I think is a great example of limited minutes. He's actually coming through, and he's actually been better than I was expecting. Now, offensively, can he have a little bit more aggression to his game? Absolutely, but I don't think he's going to really be out there to score a ton of points. Obviously, he's going to combat shots. He's going to be a factor around the rim. He's going to block. He's going to get out there and he's going to block a shot a lot of the time. You know, or maybe not a lot of the time, but he's going to be out there consistently contesting shots because he's 7'2". He's a big guy. He's not too bad of a defender. You know, his game is going to probably be limited. That's probably what you're going to get, and I think what he's doing, his role is great. I think he's doing fine. You know, when I'm thinking about not even reaching their potential, not even close, is Andre Kostic. It's just a matter of time before Abdi starts going off on shots. And then Nate Johnson, I think, is all-around game. He's just kind of scratching the surface. PJ Haggerty, I think, is doing what we pictured him to do. He's going to score. He's going to get downhill. He's going to get to the free throw line. Now, where Tulsa, I thought, was where they best played their game was getting to the free throw line. They got there 29 times. That's below average for Tulsa, but they got there quite a bit. K-State was having a tough time guarding without fouling. Maybe sometimes they're a little over-aggressive on their defense. I thought that's kind of where PJ got a little caught up in his own game, and he picked up a couple of fouls. Felt like a couple of cheap whistles but at the same time, I don't know if you've noticed, but PJ is kind of getting a little bit of a superstar whistle here and there.
Yeah.
You know, some kind whistles. He's getting away with a few things that maybe some guys don't get away with.
There's a reason he's been compared to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a little bit.
He borderline travels, sometimes, and there was maybe a little bit of a push off there late. I don't know. Maybe I didn't have the best angle, but if you ask Tulsa, which I could hear clearly from their bench, that was a push off. They didn't get that whistle. PJ, I think, is going to,
Perks to being an All-American.
Well, absolutely. The referees have done their homework, and they do their homework before the game and during halftime and after the game, about who's, playing in that game. Let's get to, before we get to Jabroni of the Week, we got a bunch of texts that have come in. Point Porcupine.
Don't hate it. Porcupine, I love a good porcupine reference.
I'm still on Panda.
I like Panda, too.
I'm still on Panda. What is going on with Marcus Johnson? Haven't seen him on the floor yet, although he is sitting on the bench in uniform. He's warming up and everything. Good question.
I don't think anyone's really asked that either.
I mean, I've heard the rumor, you can put it that way, or the whispers that maybe he's not in the shape that the team wants him to be in. I mean, this is just speculation. I haven't heard anything. Coach Tang hasn't said anything concrete. No player has asked him. Nobody has asked the players about Marcus Johnson. So, yeah, I don't know.
Kind of up in the air.
Yeah, I wish I had an answer. That's the best we can do. Can't give you anything for sure. From Jesse, do you think the amount of substitutions used hurts the consistency on both ends? Don't get me wrong, happy to see us have a bunch of guys that can play. I mean, no. I thought Tang, well, here's a couple of things we do need to mention. No Moby last night, so that affects the lineup.
Taj minutes.
So Taj played.
He played decent, actually.
He was all right. Mm-hmm. He was all right. I mean, if there's one player that I'm surprised that hasn't fully panned out quite yet.
Elias
Rapiak.
Yeah.
Little surprised by that. Was Taj better than Elias? I'm just throwing that question out there. I'll leave it open-ended if you want to answer that question. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought a little bit. I thought
he was in the same ballpark.
Honestly, a little bit.
I love the energy from Taj last night.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably ready to get out there and play. They needed him to play. I don't know how long Moby's out. Coach Tang didn't want to talk about that, so.
And he kind of has the Moby archetype, where it's just like an athletic, bigger guard / forward who's going to try to clamp you up defensively and then jump for a lot of rebounds.
I'm sure in some areas Tang is still figuring out particular lineups. I mean, that's what you do. But, I mean, right now with the substitutions, I think what you see, especially with the bench, is right now you have guys coming off the bench, like, for example, C.J. Jones, who I would say, I mean, he was a liability on offense. He was taking some three-pointers that did not need to be taken by him, especially in crucial situations, but he's a good defender. They were doing offense-defense substitutions late in the game. They had to.
Probably the best on-ball defender outside of maybe Nate Johnson.
So, they needed CJ out there for defense. Andre Kostic is an offensive guy. Buka is more of a defensive guy. David Castillo, I mean, certainly has really blossomed as a scorer. But you're not going to get it really too many guys off the bench that's going to be an impact on both ends of the floor. And then it doesn't help, Elias only plays 9 minutes last night. He's not scoring the basketball. He's not a threat at all really offensively. Not rebounding either, which is kind of a problem. The bigs, I mean, I thought there for a while was not rebounding at all. Kamari is rebounding now. He had 9 last night. He's such an athlete. So no, I mean, I don't know. No,
I think more than anything last night, the reason there was never a flow was because there were so many fouls on both teams where it felt like, I think that was the biggest thing limiting K-State from going. You mentioned Tulsa prevented K-State from going on that run. Like there was the one little run that was a 5-point run when I believe it was Andre who hit the 3. Immediately Tulsa draws a foul on the next possession and kind of takes away the momentum. So I think honestly fouls was the most limiting factor for a flow last night.
Taj did have a nice putback. So did Andre.
Yeah,
the little tap in.
Yeah,
was that last night? I think it was last night.
It was. Well, that was absurd.
He turned over David Green. David Green did not, for Tulsa, their leading scorer did not have a great night last night. If I can find his numbers here.
3 for 16, 2 of 9 from 3.
He did have 11. He had a couple of threes. He did have 11 points last night, but he was averaging like 18, 17 or something like that. And Andre turned him over. The very next play, he hit that 3. I was like, okay, that's a great sign. Yeah. His defense is honestly getting a little bit better as well, but I mean, he's going to get better. It still feels like he's adjusting for sure. Let's see if we had anything else. Just wanted to go back though, to the free throws here for just a moment. My big thought here about PJ is, well, let me ask you this, Cole. What do you remember about guards last year being aggressive and getting to the free throw line?
There was certainly at times Doug was willing to go into the lane, and there were a couple of spectacular shots he made down there, but I don't think there's been a guard who's been this willing to live in the paint since Marquise.
We got guys that want to get to the hoop.
Yeah.
And draw contact and get to the free throw line.
So much for the offense, too.
To me, that's huge. Mm-hmm. PJ is a completely different, when it comes to a point guard that we've had in the last couple of years, of a downhill guy that can go score the basketball and get to the free throw line. Like, remember, David Gasson was our leader in free throw attempts last year. That's not who you wanted to be the guy to take the most free throws in your season. The guards weren't very aggressive. Like, that was a big thing K-State was lacking last year. That feels like it's a little bit different this year. We take a timeout. When we come back, Jabroni of the Week. It's after these words.
Your home for K-State sports.
31st pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Felix Enrique Uzama, defensive end, Kansas State.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
This Saturday is K-State's final road game of the 2025 regular season as the Wildcats visit the Utah Utes. Kickoff is set for 3 p.m. That means PowerCat Game Day, the biggest pregame show in the Big 12, will start at 11 a.m. PowerCat Game Day brought to you by Prairie Land Partners, Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, Culver's, and the McCain Performance Series. Listen to PowerCat Game Day on 101.5 K-Rock, News Radio KMAN, and online at PowerCatGameDay.com.
In Manhattan, building community means more than bricks and beams. It means innovation and partnership. At McCown Gordon Construction, we deliver feature-focused solutions to projects that shape our region. From advanced research labs to vibrant education, healthcare, and community hubs. We're not just building projects, we're building the future of the Flint Hills with unmatched customer experience and value-driven strategies. We're building for tomorrow. Visit kansas.mccown-gordon.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Drafting a running back in the first round is often treated like a football faux pas. We're told it's a luxury pick, a position you can fill later, a move only justified for a rare player with rare usage. Think Bijan Robinson in Atlanta, Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit. When you draft a back that high, you're drafting touches, production, and impact from day one. That's why the situation in Vegas feels baffling. The Raiders spent premium draft capital on Ashton Genty, betting on his explosive and college resume, but the returns haven't matched the investment. He's 19th in the NFL in rushing yards, 16th in attempts, not even close to the immediate impact needed for a high draft pick. Last night, perfect example. 6 carries, 7 yards, a non-factor in the loss to the Cowboys. That's not just usage. That's a philosophy issue. If you're going to take a running back that high, then use him. Otherwise, you're turning a calculated risk into flat-out bad business. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings Wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
The Ramsey Show.
How do I protect myself from inheriting a timeshare?
So basically a timeshare is a liability. It's a bill. So you're not going to end up owning this because you won't sign the transfer papers. They may take some of the parents' assets because it's very hard to get rid of. And one lawyer calls it legalized fraud. You can't give us enough money to take it. It's a poison pill.
Life and money advice. The Ramsey Show, weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Radio KMAN. News Radio KMAN. Weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 61 degrees with partly cloudy skies, wind out of the north at around 7 miles per hour. Tonight, fog between 2 and 9 a.m. with an overnight low of 36 and mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, a high of around 63 with partly sunny skies after that fog leaves in the morning. 30% chance of showers Wednesday night, mainly after 11 p.m. Heading to Thursday, mostly cloudy and a high of 63. 60% chance of precipitation Thursday night. Friday, showers and a high near 52.
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni! You jabronis hit the jackpot!
That Hollywood blonde jabroni, Hulk Hogan!
Ow! Is this jabroni's name?
Jabroni of the week.
All right, let's get right to it. 3 dishonorable mentions. I'll finish up with my official jabroni of the week. And my first dishonorable mention, we got ourselves another classic. D3 beating a D1 basketball team. My first dishonorable mention, the Pitt women's basketball team. They were taking on the Scranton Lady Royals. Love Scranton, Pennsylvania. Been there once upon a time. Took a picture in front of Dunder Mifflin. Big fan. And but the Scranton Lady Royals are a D3 team. Now, they are a very good D3 team. They won a Natty in 85. They have been to 8 Final Fours in their program's history, but they took on the Pitt Panthers and beat them the other night 69-63 after Pitt started 2-1 on the year. A monster upset taking place in women's college basketball the other night.
They also lost to Drexel, so not the best start in the world for Pitt women's basketball.
Well, that's at least Drexel's D1. I did some research on Pitt, and they might be historically the worst power program in the history of women's basketball.
Really? They're that bad?
So this is their 45th season of college basketball. They've made the NCAA tournament just 4 times. They've never been to a Sweet 16. They've only finished a season in the top 25 once.
Yeah, it's not great history.
Bad. My next is honorable mention, I'm going to go with Alabama kicker Connor Talty. I think is how you say his last name. If you haven't heard, Bama lost again to Oklahoma. Kalen DeBoer is owned by Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's true.
Brent Venables owns Kalen DeBoer. I don't know if you've heard, but it's true. So with time expiring in the first half, Alabama attempted to kick a 31-yard field goal that would have tied the game at 17 heading into the locker rooms. Looked like at first like the kick was blocked, right? Well, after review, after we saw the instant replay, the snap was a little high, but the holder rather brought it down right to the ground, puts the finger on it, everything's fine. The kick was just shanked. But what Connor did after the play was he turns around and starts chewing out his long snapper. You piece of garbage, how could you not put our season is on the line? We're supposed to be a top 4 and you're giving me that crap? There you heard the audio from the the altercation. No. After seeing the replay, it was all on kicker. It was on Connor. It was on the kicker. It was poorly kicked. I mean, an absolute kick. A terrible kick from 31 yards out. Like, it was all side foot. It's like he kicked it with the heel of his foot. A sidewinder, no form at all. Terrible. It was all on the kicker. What a bad look.
And you can't show up your long snapper. I mean, even if it was actually his fault, I mean, every single person ever knows it's our, hey, next one. Next, there's going to be another field goal attempt later in this game or a PAT. Next one. On to the next. You can't show them up.
My last dishonorable mention is the cop on the Texas A&M sideline. Do you see this? So
I did.
Lenora Sellers finally, started slinging it around again. He's got one of the quickest wide receivers in the country. His name's Nick Harbor. I mean, the Gamecocks are already up a couple of scores. I mean, they're blowing out Texas A&M in the first half. And then they get a 65-yard touchdown to put South Carolina up 3 points. But after the play, the receiver, Harbor, who scored the touchdown, started to run up the tunnel a little bit. He was holding his leg. Looked like he may have pulled something, and he kind of walked up the tunnel. And then the teammates met him in the tunnel. They kind of stayed there for a little while. Appeared Harbor was hurt a little bit. And then he starts walking out, where here comes this Mountie, He's walking to the tunnel as the guys from South Carolina coming out, sticks his elbows and his arms out a little bit, and just, I don't know what the official name of this is, but just basically shoulder checks.
Like Big Bros him.
Yeah. Shoulder checks to South Carolina players, and then turns around. Harper's like, whoa, buddy. And then the cop turns around and points his finger at him like, you better get out of my tunnel. Get out of here. I'm sure he called him boy and stuff like that. Anyway, that cop, he was removed from the sideline. He was removed from his duties at that game at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And Texas A&M came back to win the game.
Yeah. What are we doing?
But my jabroni of the week, see if I have any impressions left.
Yeah, you're on a roll today.
My jabroni of the week, I mean, that cop is, I would say is jabroni of the week, but then I stumble across this story from hockey in the NHL. New Jersey Devils center Jack Hughes. Big deal, right? He's one of the best scorers in the NHL apparently this year. And the New Jersey Devils, I mean, they're off to their best start in 30 years. They're 11-4 right now. Well, last week they were in Chicago to take on the Blackhawks. The night before, the team's going out for a steak dinner. They're at Chicago Cut Steakhouse. And so they're out, they're eating their meal, they're getting ready to get up. Jack, the best player on the team, signs the bill. He gets up and he's like, well, time to get some shut-eye. There's a big game tomorrow. I don't know where he's from. Maybe I should put an A behind that.
He's American.
Oh, is he American?
Yeah,
okay.
But maybe he's from like North Dakota or something.
Yeah, he could be from anywhere. Anyway, he gets up and for whatever reason, he decides to use a glass, like a cup, a glass to drink out of, to brace himself as he uses that glass to help him get out of his chair for whatever reason. The glass shatters, cuts the hell out of his hand. Turns out because of this, he's going to have surgery and he's going to miss 2 months from the season for using a glass to get up and the glass shattered from obviously the weight on the glass. To me, that's a ridiculous thing to happen. What a weird thing to happen off the ice. For a glass to break out a steakhouse, you have to have surgery on that cut, and he's going to be out for an extended period of time. Jack Hughes is my jabroni of the week.
I would be crashing out if I was a fan of that take. You're like, imagine like Patrick Mahomes is at a steakhouse and he injures his throwing hand or something.
I mean, it's comparable, but what the fans did is they started putting reviews on that steakhouse, 1-star steakhouse, calling him trash and all that. When it's their player that was the idiot that...
It's not their fault.
He did it to himself.
Yeah.
It's not like they shanked him.
From Orlando, Florida, by the way. So no A's on the end of his...
Oh, that's the trashiest Southern accent you'll find. Nothing interesting about a Florida accent. We'll take a break. Hour 2 of the game coming up next.
Miss any of the show?
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Never fear, sports fan. Check out the Game podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and newsradiokman.com.
Change begins in the light within.
Enter the mystery January 31st. Light MHK presents The Light Within, a phantom's ball for change. Beneath the masks and chandeliers lies a greater purpose, raising funds for those who need mental health care and hope. Bid in the live and silent auctions and let your generosity light the way. Find your mask, find your light, find your tickets at lightmhk.com. That's lightmhk.com.
We all have the power to change.
Presented by Manhattan Broadcasting and Light MHK.
At Stormont Vale Health, high-quality care is right around the corner.
Stormont Vale Health is more than just a hospital. We're an essential part of your community. Our commitment to quality healthcare means investing in the most skilled and talented providers and cutting-edge medical technology. Our investment in your well-being doesn't stop there. We also support various nonprofit programs throughout the communities we serve. Visit stormontvale.org and discover how we can serve you.
Stormont Vale Health, high-quality care, closer to home.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
This holiday season, experience the magical sound of Celtic Woman.
Celtic Woman Symphony Christmas Tour 2025. Friday, December 5th, Kansas State University McCain Auditorium. Featuring Celtic Woman's favorite Yuletide songs with the thrilling sound of a full symphony orchestra. Tickets on sale now at mccain.k-state.edu. Celtic Woman Symphony Christmas Tour 2025.
KS State Bank offers convenient services to help make life a little easier. Visit ksstate.bank to learn more. KS State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. KMAN, Manhattan.
CBS News Brief. The House has voted overwhelmingly to release the Epstein files, but there may be a complication in the Senate over whether redactions would be made and the measure sent back to the House. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Republicans must not try to change this bill or bury it in committee or slow walk it in any way. Any amendment to this bill would force it back to the House and risk further delay. Who knows what would happen over there?
A panel of federal judges has blocked Texas from using a new congressional map that Republicans hoped would give them 5 more seats in the U.S. House. Legal analyst Lori Levinson.
The ruling makes clear that the reason that the maps that were drawn in Texas were illegal is because this was racial gerrymandering, not political gerrymandering.
The Texas Attorney General is appealing to the Supreme Court. On Wall Street today, stocks finish lower. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
Now, the latest news from the News Radio KMAN and Manhattan Mercury Newsroom.
I'm Louis Marion. RCPD explores a new home for its Aggieville substation, and city officials will consider rezoning property near Bill Snyder Family Stadium for a future entertainment district. These stories and more coming up. The Raleigh County Police Department substation in Aggieville may relocate from Morrow Street to the new Hampton Inn building under construction at 12th and Laramie. RCPD Director Brian Pete informed the Law Board on Monday that the move would provide significantly more space.
The owner will give us the same costs of square footage, but again, because we have triple the space, it will go from 1,000, I believe, a month to roughly 3,000 a month. And so we want to have that conversation with the county before we potentially move forward.
In 2021, RCPD considered relocating the substation to the Aggieville parking garage. County commissioners turned down that idea due to costs. Pete says the lack of space in the current location can be problematic.
Because of the high amount of volume, especially when we have incidences that occur, that we're sandwiched in between 2 clubs and we can barely hear each other when those things are going on.
Going forward, Pete says RCPD will need to go through the Raleigh County Commission first before returning this item to the Law Board. Manhattan City Commissioners will consider a rezoning item for a future entertainment district across from Bill Snyder Family Stadium. The proposal would shift the site at the northeast corner of College and Kimball Avenue from a university and college district to a mixed-use district. Future plans on the site include the development of condominiums, a hotel, restaurants, and central open space area for food trucks. In other business, city officials will consider approving a $1.2 million agreement with Olson to begin design work on a taxiway reconstruction project for the Manhattan Regional Airport. Chamber officials are also set to present the 4th quarter report from the Convention and Visitors Bureau and consider its 2026 contract proposal totaling just over $2 million. The meeting begins at 6 p.m. in City Hall. An Ogden man jailed on other charges was arrested on new charges Monday from a past warrant listing several drug-related offenses. According to the Raleigh County Police Department, David De Jesus Roman, 28, is facing charges of distribution of an opiate, narcotic, or certain stimulant and use of a communication facility and the commission of a felony drug violation. The warrant stems from an April 23rd incident. Bond was set at $7,500 for the new charges. De Jesus Roman remained in custody as of Tuesday's arrest report. Raleigh County Commissioners have approved sending a support letter for a federal transit grant benefiting the Flint Hills Area Transportation Agency. The request is for the Formula Grants for Rural Areas program, which helps fund transit service outside larger cities. Flint Hills Adabus Director Ann Smith says the application must come from local jurisdictions.
So this is for services outside of Manhattan, basically. Manhattan is urbanized funding, and so this would be Northern Raleigh County, any rural areas outside of Manhattan, Ogden, and part of western Pottawatomie County.
The agency is also asking for a vehicle replacement, though Smith says funding is tight.
I'm not overly confident that they'll approve it because they're short on money for vehicles, but if we don't ask, the answer will be no anyway, so we're going to ask for it.
And finally, tonight, the winter months are harsh for plants, but there's a way to keep them alive. K-State Horticulture Extension Specialist Cynthia Domangini was a recent guest on K-State's Agriculture Today podcast. She says you can hot caps, cold frames, and low tunnels to preserve plant life.
So hot caps are actually pretty simplistic. One of the examples that I've used is taking an old empty milk jug, the plastic kind, and maybe a gallon size, and cut the bottom off of it, leaving most of the milk jug intact, and then placing that over the top of the plant.
Domangini says a milk jug will create a miniature greenhouse effect and warm the area right around the plant. She also recommends monitoring the plants as they can heat up quickly.
And on those sunny days, you actually need to be kind of monitoring. So if you're going to use season extension, you still have to do some work in the garden to make sure you're not making it too warm in the garden.
That's a look at news. I'm Louis Marion, News Radio KMAN. Hour to the game and your weather forecast are up next.
KMAN News brought to you by L&L Advisors. Local, genuine, and here for you.
News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, fair skies with 58 degrees and 8 miles an hour of wind out of the north. Tonight, patchy fog between 2 and 9 a.m. with an overnight low of 36 and partly cloudy skies. Once that fog rolls out tomorrow morning, mostly sunny skies and a high near 63. 30% chance of showers mainly after 11 on Wednesday night. On Thursday, mostly cloudy and a high near 63.
Weather on News Radio KMAN is brought to you by Sunset Zoo. Come see Santa and walk the Luminary Trail November 29th and 30th. For tickets and times, visit sunsetzoo.com.
All right, hour to the game after work. Mitch Fortner, Cole Dutchendorf, what are you playing for us?
Honestly, not really sure. I just know it's like a TikTok song or something.
Oh, okay,
So I think this is originally Mariah Carey and Busta Rhymes, though.
Shout out to him. Well, still to come here in hour number 2, what we've learned about K-State through their first 4 games, their 4-0 start. K-State tight end Linkon Cure spoke to the media yesterday. We'll hear that back. Plus, who is the most hated NFL franchise today? You remember last year we talked about this. I thought Kansas City would kind of stay good, yes, but under the radar is the most hated team. People like to hate like on the NFC East when whoever's good, hate on the Eagles. Yeah,
that'd be my most hated team.
The Dallas Cowboys.
The
The Dallas Cowboys are easy to hate on, but has Kansas City finally taken that number 1 spot as the most hated team in the NFL? I've never really looked at Kansas City as a hated team. Like, kids look up to Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady won a lot of championships. That was why he was hated. Kansas City, I just don't feel like the Chiefs get that same kind of hate. Am I wrong?
I think they do.
Really?
I think there's a lot of the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce brought in a whole different element of, the people who are upset that they're showing a celebrity who's a woman for more than 5 seconds on the TV in a game.
But the thing is, that is a completely ridiculous thing to hate on the Chiefs for.
Well, correct. I don't disagree with you for that, but it is one of the many reasons. Also, they've been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. All of the ref groveling. I think they're definitely top 3 for sure,
but
in my eyes.
It just doesn't feel. But I mean, all great points, which could be reasons why
it's not
the Chiefs
Patriots
would be the hated
because
team.
Yes, it was the winning. I don't necessarily think Tom Brady was as likable as Patrick Mahomes is, and then also there was the cheating scandals too. Like the legitimate, like saying refs are favoring a team is one thing, but for legitimate punishments being handed down for cheating is a whole different ballpark, and I don't think the Chiefs have ever been accused of that.
Well, every year there's a poll, it's based on, like, really a big part of it is social media hate. Mm-hmm. Who are the people hating on the most? And we got those results. Hopefully we'll be able to get to that a little bit later on Here in today's second hour, we're going to wrap up at 6. We got K-State women's basketball pregame starting as they host the Troy Trojans. Cats trying to break a 2-game skid, and tip-off is at 6:30 from Bramlage Coliseum. K-State is 4-0. They beat Tulsa last night, 84-83. If you know anything about this series history, it's one really Tulsa's dominated. Cats beat Tulsa back in 2019. I think there was a neutral site game that K-State lost. It's like, you know how Tulane is with K-State football. I think Tulsa is that way for K-State men's basketball. But we've played 4 games. Let's take the whole season and just kind of review. And Cole, what have we learned? What have we learned about K-State men's basketball through the first 4 games of the regular season, all at home, as we're now about to go on a neutral site and play in Kansas City?
There's definitely a lot of things we've learned through the first 4 games, and some of it is kind of expected, but still to actually expect it and to see it play out are 2 different things. First thing is this team can shoot, and there's a lot of different players where shooting can come from. There's a lot of dudes who can fill it up. There's guys like Abdi who can create their own shot or be a catch-and-shoot kind of guy. You saw him have a nasty jab yesterday that freed him for an open look on the right side, but also he can create in the mid-range. So he's a bona fide shooter. Nate Johnson kind of took the season by storm with his 5 of 7 or something like that from deep in the first game of the year. So he can fill it up a little bit. Andre Kostic has had his moments. David Castillo maybe would be at the top of your list so far. So expected, but you've kind of confirmed it. And even with a poor shooting night last night, I still think you expect this team to shoot and make a lot of threes over the course of the season, so they can shoot the heck out of it. I think we've learned that this is just a different type of team mentality compared to the last couple of years. There's just a couple of dogs on this roster, and I think you need that in today's era of NIL, where maybe it can be a little bit of going through the motions. There weren't any, hopping on a podcast and complaining about Shark Week. There was, let's handle our business, let's get through this. Even against Tulsa, we're going to complain that we're down 5 late in this game. Let's just put the axe to the grindstone and pull out a win. So I think there's a couple of dogs on this team. And then if there's one more, I'd say I think you're seeing some growth already in this season from players who you maybe didn't have the most expectations for coming into this season. Honestly, I think Doreen Buka, he hasn't been fantastic or out of this world. He's been better than I thought he was going to be. I think that Cal game, you kind of saw what he can do, or he can be a legitimate post presence in terms of not really going to do a ton offensively, but he's going to grab some boards. He's going to, at the very least, impact drives to the rim and make it more difficult for people to get around him. I mean, he's got a large body. And then also another guy that I want to go to is Kamari McGriff. This is a guy who was a 6th man at UNC Wilmington. Don't know how much was expected out of him. He averaged about 20 minutes a game at UNCW. And I think he's looked really good. I believe going into last night, he was actually leading the Big 12 in field goal percentage. He's been really good on that side of the floor. You saw him against Cal just kind of decide, yeah, these guys can't guard me. And if you can have that kind of consistent post presence where you can get 8 to 12 points a night, a few boards, pick up, like last night, he had 13 and 9. And again, defense will be one thing. And if he can continue to improve on that end of the floor, you have a legitimate post rotation where coming into the season, you're like, yeah, that's a legitimate weakness, but you at least have guys who are serviceable in those roles. So those would be probably my top 3 so far.
All really good. I think you kind of touched on a lot of things that were important to touch on, both team-wise and individually, who has stood out to you. Mine aren't really too crazy. I think number 1 is PJ can carry the team. When he's called upon, he can go get you a bucket. Those are monster things to have as a leader of this team, But at the same time, I think what another big standout to me is I think we've seen Cal, we've seen Tulsa come in here and play as best as they possibly could. Play as hard as they possibly could. Sell out, play tough on both ends of the floor, and truly compete. I think what we've learned right now, and until things change, this was obviously will stay the same, that right now against the better teams, no lead is safe. And that's what's unfortunate right now. That's the one probably true issue about this team, is they're not playing good enough for the full 20 minutes of the second half. When there's blood in the water, they're not following that blood trail and chomping on the opponent when they could put the game away. We saw Cal, who was down double digits, was down 20-something points. And heck, I mean, they were down big with 4 or 5 minutes to go, and they got it within 3. You know, Cats got the game. They got the win, right? But you don't expect K-State after a dominant first half to allow that to happen. And against Tulsa, K-State was really never able to pull away, but they still had a double-digit lead. And when they build that lead, they haven't figured out how to hold on to it. It's probably where the biggest lessons are coming from. And I still think this team hasn't really dipped into its full potential on exercising what they do best. I think Nate Johnson is still, for whatever reason, despite being an absolute baller, I think in the offensive game he's still holding back on what exactly he can do. But what a big compliment it's been for David Castillo to find his offensive game. Like, guys can have an off night. Like Nate Johnson, for example, offensively, he was just 2 of 7 for 5 points. Guys can pick him up from there, but he's still filling up the stat sheet. Kamari McGriff, who you mentioned, to me has been so far the surprise of the season. Him along with David. I think, honestly, for me, it's a tie. I wasn't feeling too great about the 5 heading in. Kamari McGriff has been exceeding expectations. He's been a great surprise. David's surprise has been consistent shooting. I mean, to be quite honest with you, he's really kind of tearing it up, averaging. I would never have expected for David this year to average 14 points a game at any time.
And
I know
also
it's early.
Quietly been pretty good on the defensive end of the floor as well. You can tell he's definitely a lot stronger than he was last year, as you mentioned earlier.
I mean, David is second on the team in 3-point makes. So far, he's 11 of 18. And Abdi Bashir is in first. He's hit 13, and you got Nate Johnson with 10 so far. PJ Haggerty's hit 4, and Andre Kostic has hit 4. I mean, to me, that's really my biggest takeaways right now. I still want to learn about this team, though, and I think we may learn more about K-State and Kansas City than we have so far this season.
Oh, definitely.
Kansas City's going to be a big test. Even though, I mean, Mississippi State, it's kind of like what Cal and Tulsa, what they faced so far this year. Other than Iowa State, they've played these cupcakes and they've had their struggles. Who was it against? Southeast Louisiana or something like that. That was it, or maybe it was North Alabama. North Alabama, I mean, Mississippi State was struggling in that game. They didn't win it by many points. I may be getting games confused, but they have kind of had some lackadaisical performances in non-conference play. So there's going to be things on paper that say Mississippi State struggles here, struggles there. But as we learned with Mitch Palm, as I broke it down yesterday before Tulsa, that was in complete contrast of what Tulsa had been so far this year. I mean, they just found ways to step up their game in the first big game of the year. K-State was their first big game of the year. Like for K-State, those were the 2 first big games of the year. Competition really ramped up, but K-State was able to come out with wins. I want to see this team away from Bramlage Coliseum. There still should hopefully be a home crowd there. I'm sure Nebraska will bring some fans as well. That's not a far trip from Lincoln as well. I hope there's purple there, but there's going to be more opposing fans in the building. And I want to see K-State get away from Bramlage and see how they still play as a team. Can they still light it up? Can they still hit some threes? Can they rebound off of the last couple of nights, maybe being under their averages for sure from 3-point range, especially in the Tulsa game? And I've learned as well that I think there's, any weaknesses this team has, it's going to get better. I don't think anything is going to linger for too long. I think this team will still get better defensively. I do wonder, though, as the defense gets better, how will that affect the offense? How will that affect the flow of the offense with putting more effort into the defense? Because honestly, I think what it's been for defense is just a lack of effort. They put more effort in the defense last night. I thought at least in the first half, they put more effort into the defense. And what they did better in the second half with their defense is just stay with their guy better. Battle through ball screens better. Battle for positioning better. Tulsa was just hitting more tougher shots than K-State was in that second half. So I've learned a couple of things. I still think there's a lot to learn. We've only played 4 games. They haven't played away from home quite yet. So that's where I stand right now. I don't give you a whole lot. I mean, I think we've also learned that PJ Haggerty is a dude. I'm sad to learn that Elias Rapiak has taken some time to really adjust to this game, but I also think that Andre Kostic is going to turn into a baller. Give it some time. He's getting better. He's getting better on both ends. He didn't look against Tulsa like he did against UNC Greensboro. I think it was that game. When he's trying to defend and here's a fast break and he looks like a 5-year-old trying to guard his brother that's 16. Where there's absolutely no chance. He's a newborn colt on ice and he's lost. He has no chance to stop anybody. He was more competitive. He really was more competitive against Tulsa. But overall, K-State still needs to get better. Everywhere, especially with the flow of the offense. I didn't think they ran a whole lot last night. It was just sooner or later the ball was going to go to PJ and he's going to go attack. There wasn't the pick and pop 3-pointers that K-State was able to hit with Abdi and David. David was fortunate enough to get most of the open threes. He cooled off last night, but he still found a way to score 12 points, including the game winner.
You mentioned earlier in your part of that this next week you're going to find out a lot about this team. And I don't necessarily take Net or Ken Palm as like the end-all, be-all, but you look at the teams that K-State has played so far, Cal would be the best on Ken Palm at 78. The next 3 teams are all at least 30 spots ahead of that. Mississippi State at 45, Nebraska at 41 if they would play Nebraska, and then Indiana at Indiana is obviously going to be the biggest test of the year so far. They've looked really good this season, so you're going to find out a lot. I think if you could manage to win for sure at least one of the next 3, and if you can go 2-1 in your next 3 games, you'd feel really happy about it. And if nothing else, if they can stay competitive against the Mississippi State and against potentially Nebraska, and then definitely if they can stay competitive against Indiana, you're feeling pretty good about where this team at and how they're gelling just 7 games into a season. So it's going to be a revealing 6 days for this men's basketball team.
What is your biggest concern? Let me ask you this question. That might be a thinker. Take a moment, but what's your biggest concern?
It's pretty easy for me. It continues to be on-ball defense, and that has been you'd love to have Andre Kostic on the floor more, but when there's been issues with keeping your guys in front, and to your point, he did do better with that last night, but that's been an issue for multiple guys on this team. There's just been too many easy baskets where it's been either late rotations or not talking on those rotations, or just simply getting beat off the dribble. It happened, I mentioned earlier, happened a few times with PJ. Abdi, the effort appeared to be more there in the first half, but still it's happening where he's getting out of position on the defensive end. So that will continue to be, until it gets fixed, that's, I think, one of the biggest weaknesses for this team. And if they can shore that up, I mean, I think they're going to be pretty good.
I think I go to the 4 position. You're just not really getting an impact. I mean, maybe Moby here and there.
Elias needs to step up.
It just depends
though.
on it depends on the lineup, of course. But Elias has just been a bit of a surprise. We've seen him in the lineup, the starting lineup, and just not really an impact at all. He's pretty experienced. He's played a lot of basketball. He's played a lot at the international level. He's the older one, when it comes to the international guys, and it's been an adjustment. He looks lost at times. He's not an impact on the offense. He barely played last night. So there's a lot of work to do with him. Taj is not a guy that you're going to see a whole lot this season. I don't know how long Moby's going to be out. But right now, it just kind of feels like they're missing anybody that's going to make a significant impact right now at the 4.
And honestly, the biggest thing is if Elias can knock down a couple of outside shots, that's just going to open up the spacing even more when you don't have to have him in the paint or on the baseline. When you can spread him out on the perimeter, that's going to lead to more open looks for guys like Abdi and for David and for Nate Johnson and even for PJ.
Well, and I would even say in general, like up until really here recently, I thought just the bigs in general, the front court was a pretty big concern. Because Kamari wasn't rebounding. He was getting some shots, but it wasn't rebounding. He was not a factor at all, really. And so it's the guards having to crash the boards, but then they're not boxing out. And I felt like, man, this is, especially in those exhibitions, I think if I remember against Greensboro, I was like, rebounding, this could be real rough this year. I don't like this at all. Kamari stepping up. He's been a lot better than I thought he would. He had 9 rebounds last night. That's getting a lot better. We need him to rebound. Guards, you got to box out. Please start boxing out. You are driving me crazy that you are not boxing out. And you're allowing teams to just beat you to the basketball. I mean, there's just no fundamentals there right now, I feel like. So please start doing that. That could make a lot of things easier on you. I did think in times it got better, but it needs to be better all around. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear our only football segment of the show, as we'll get to more of it tomorrow. But Linkon Cure, take a guess before we take a break. How many catches, how many yards does he have so far this year? Probably the surprise right now is that, well, he has played a decent amount of football, not a single highlight to account for right now. But we'll hear from Linkon Cure, who is almost done with his freshman year here at K-State. The Kansas kid from Goodland, the 5-star, coming up next on The Game.
You're in The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Dollars spent locally today help build a better community for tomorrow.
WTC Fiber Internet is on its way to all of Manhattan. Sign your home or business up today at WTCKS.com. No contracts, no data caps, or overage fees. Fast, local, reliable. WTC Fiber Internet. Sign up today at WTCKS.com.
It's time for spring cleanup. Find what you need and the brands you love at Midwest Ace Hardware. Make yard cleanup easy with Ego or Stihl trimmers and blowers. Fertilize and seed your lawn with Scotts. And enjoy cookouts all summer long with Traeger, Blackstone, Weber, or Big Green Egg. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks.
For a once-in-a-lifetime experience, engagement ring shopping simply can't be duplicated on a computer screen. At Fifely Jewelers, you'll be pleasantly surprised by our pricing compared to buying online, and we offer financing. Plus, you'll have peace of mind by shopping locally with Fifely Jewelers.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
Hi, this is Carrie Hall. My wife Lauren and I are senior citizens like many of you. We've had a Blue Cross and Blue Shield Medicare policy for the last 10 years. Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement plans all across Kansas, with many with zero or very low premium. Call today at 866-692-3077 or online at bcbskansas.com. We pride ourselves on being your hometown carrier. We're Main Street, not Wall Street.
Not available in Wyandotte or Johnson County.
Save big money on your dream kitchen upgrade with help from Menards. Clearview Cabinetry offers a selection of finishes made with the finest materials and built to withstand life's sticky messes. They provide features like soft closed doors and drawers and cabinet accessories to match your unique style. Save big money on Clearview cabinets and check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
At ESB Financial, we think it makes sense to pay you. That's right, get paid 5.04% annual percentage yield on balances up to $20,000 with our free Kasasa Cash checking account. We'll even refund your ATM fees nationwide, and the best part is there's no monthly service charges or minimum balances to keep. All you have to do to earn your rewards are a few simple things each month. The best part? These things make banking easier. Visit esbfinancial.com to learn more. Special terms may apply. ESB Financial, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
In Manhattan, building community means more than bricks and beams. It means innovation and partnership. At McCown Gordon Construction, we deliver feature-focused solutions to projects that shape our region. From advanced research labs to vibrant education, healthcare, and community hubs. We're not just building projects, we're building the future of the Flint Hills with unmatched customer experience and value-driven strategies. We're building for tomorrow. Visit kansas.mccown-gordon.com.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I'd like kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak.
Can we walk home?
How about a taxi?
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
For area high school scores, recaps, league standings, and coach interviews, check out Scoreboard Saturday at 8 a.m. during football and basketball season, including coverage of the Centennial League, NCKL, Big East League, Flint Hills League, and the Twin Valley League. Scoreboard Saturday on News Radio KMAN is powered by WTC Communications. I'm Cole Betchendorf with the Game Sports Update, brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. It was nearly heartbreak in Bramlage Monday night, but K-State men's basketball escaped an upset threat from Tulsa after its defense delivered in the final moments, pulling out an 84-83 win. Tulsa took its largest lead at 83-78 with 49 seconds left, but the Hurricanes wouldn't score again. K-State's defense forced 2 turnovers, sparking a 6-0 run to close the night. Junior guard P.J. Haggerty refused to lose to his former team, scoring 27 of his 31 points in the second half. His 31-point, 10-rebound line marked his 4th career double-double and made him the first Wildcat since Michael Beasley in 2008 to record a 30-point, 10-rebound game.
It's a blessing. I feel like I just been able to score, but I think the offense and my teammates set me up for allowing me to be myself. You can see Coach Driscoll back there. He has a great offensive scheme just for everybody to eat. And I think tonight was just one of them nights that allowed me to just get to my spots and just be myself.
K-State heads to Kansas City for its first stretch away from Bramlage, opening the Hall of Fame Classic against Mississippi State at 8:30 p.m. Thursday at T-Mobile Center. K-State women's basketball wraps up its 4-game homestand tonight, hosting Troy in Bramlage Coliseum. Tip will be at 6:30 with pregame at 6 on News Radio KMAN and also on Sunny 102.5.
We them boys.
Should have saved it for the next segment, I guess.
That's all right.
Cowboys, with that's like their go-to song.
I wanted to hear from Linkon Cure. He spoke to the media earlier. That was on Monday afternoon at the Video Football Complex. He's one of the boys there in the tight ends room. Which, what would you say? Is this just as a disappointing year for them as it is for everybody else? I would certainly say the drops have been a problem.
Yeah, for sure. And you expected more consistent production from people outside of Garrett Oakley a little bit too. Maybe not individually, but as a trio for the guys behind him, and then also adding Linkon Cure in there, and they really haven't been a ton of that this year.
Well, certainly the attention for Oakley, it's not even close for the other guys. Oakley with 34 catches this year with 356. He does have 5 touchdowns this year. That's, I think that's, if I remember correctly, that's comparable to his season last year, but Lofton with 5 catches, Will Swanson has 4, and then let's see, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Will Ancio with 5. Linkon Cure has 5 as well. Now, Coach Kleiman talked about this a little bit yesterday. That Linkon obviously had a late start because of, he had a missed fall camp because he's banged up. He missed the early portion of the season. He didn't play against Iowa State. He was on the field. He didn't see much action early because he was trying to come back from an injury, and he didn't have. Oh, I should point this out. He didn't touch the football until throwing a pass. Who was that against? Remind me.
That was UCF, I believe.
UCF. That's right. It was a home game.
Yes.
And he threw an interception on the first ever touch of the football in his career.
First recorded stat. Yep, was an interception.
He throws an interception, but he does have a catch. That was like in the fourth quarter. Got a nice little ovation for 10 yards. 2 catches, 18 yards against KU. That was, he had a catch on the first drive. And then at Oklahoma State, 2 catches for 4 yards. So I would obviously say, and I know he's had a late start to the year, and they kind of, they're gradually getting him more attention and using him in the offense. I believe he actually started against Oklahoma State. So he's seeing the field more, but the ball really isn't going in his direction. A lack of highlights, absolutely. I would have expected him to have a touchdown, like at least 1 touchdown so far this year with his talent. And I'm pretty sure he's like an emergency Like if K-State needs a kick returner, he's like an emergency guy right now, what I heard.
Well, he's also essentially played more wide receiver than tight end. There's been so many times where it's been like a 3-by-1 formation where he's the one on the complete other side of the formation where he's either got to win basically a double team or he's not getting the ball thrown his way. So it's only been recently where he's been like in-line blocking, which has been a big part, I think, just transitioning from 3A Goodland to D1 football.
Well, it was a couple of games ago. I'm trying to remember who the opponent was. Avery totally missed. It would have been a 60-yard touchdown. If Avery just goes through the progressions of like the first guy wasn't open, or the second guy was open, which Avery hit, it was still like a first down play. Clean pocket. If Avery waits one more second and waits for Linkon to go down the field, is the easiest touchdown in the world. Lincoln's been missed a couple of times on some routes where he probably would have scored a touchdown. But it has been a lack of attention for the 5-star tight end. Let's hear from Linkon, who, of course, couldn't be more thrilled to be here. He spoke to the media yesterday. Here was Linkon earlier this week.
Good, how are you?
Good, man.
When you look back on the season, just from the time you got here to where you're at now, how would you describe maybe your perseverance and the ups and downs along the journey?
Yeah, it's definitely been a tough journey, especially, I kind of set myself back, going and doing that track season in basketball and not graduating early. So that was just a rough start, and then had an injury in the summer on my toes still dealing with, and then that injury on my knee. So it's definitely been rough and learning the offense. And then after learning all the tight end stuff, had to switch positions, learn all the receiver stuff. So it's been rough, but honestly, I've enjoyed it so far. And it just shows a lot about my perseverance, and I just think it's been a lot of fun. I love being out there. So
what have you learned most about yourself during this journey?
A lot of things. I don't even know if I could put it down to one thing, but kind of like you said, just like in my perseverance, knowing things are going to be okay. And it's honestly, I've kind of had to see it like I need to trust my development. I knew all the expectations coming into the season, all that even in the expectations I had for myself, I need to kind of learn to, it's going to be okay. I have time, and I just need to, develop myself.
What do you like best about your role right now?
Honestly, anything they have for me out on the field, any, job they want me to do, I love everything about it. So, just even being out there and being with my teammates is a lot of fun.
Linkon, are you putting any pressure on yourself now, especially without Jace, to make a few more plays in the passing game?
Not much pressure that I already haven't had on myself, but I know it sucks with Jace being down, but that gives it a spot for me and Adonis to step up, kind of like Coach Wells said last week to us, and I think we're going to take advantage of that moment. So,
what's that pressure been like? Just kind of being the man that come in with the 5-star and everybody looking at you, and just what's that been like this year?
No, it's definitely been tough, but I've fought through all the ups and downs, and honestly, all glory to God. He kind of helped me out through all this stuff, and it's been good so far though.
Was there one point where you felt like things were really at a low, and how did you pull yourself out?
Kind of like how I said before, I went to God. Even at Goodland, something that I always do when kind of everything was getting to me, but I just go to church and I just sit in the pew and I just sit there for a long time, and that's what I've done so far, and I've just really found a close relationship with God, and kind of doing all the things I can to be better in that way. So yeah.
What's that rush been like this season, running onto the field at Bill Snyder Family Stadium?
It's been awesome. It's a dream come true, as I said. I sitting there as a kid watching everybody else do it, and then now I have the ability to do it. And it's been awesome. It's just been a dream come true.
How motivated are you guys heading into this game?
We're super motivated. We know it's going to be a tough game. We know it's a good team. We'll have them at, I think they said 3:00 kickoff on Saturday, and I think we're all pretty excited for it. And we really need to set a tone with this game, and we'll see how things start out today with this Monday practice, but I'm pretty excited.
What do you think this year, playing a lot of receivers, is going to help out when you move probably back to tight end in the future?
I honestly think it's awesome. I think it's really going to help me out with all my development. I think I'm going to go back to that tight end position, and really what I've kind of learned is a lot, just how to read coverages a lot more and how to attack leverage, and I think I'm going to bring that back to the tight end position. It's going to work out really well for me.
Not that you don't want to block, but the opportunity to catch more passes, does that just kind of give you more juice when you're playing?
Yeah, no, I love having the ball in my hands, so that definitely excites me. But even last game I got to, on a couple plays, I got to be attached to the line and pancake the guy, and that was pretty exciting for me. So I was, that was pretty fun. But I enjoy doing both, but yeah.
Avery was your host, right?
Yeah.
What kind of relationship do you guys have, and how has that maybe developed throughout the season?
It's a good relationship, and I think we've just been getting a lot closer throughout the season, especially with, moving to wide receiver and have to communicate with him a lot more on what he wants me doing, routes, timing, stuff like that. But no, Avery's a great guy. We have a great relationship.
What just kind of was off at Oklahoma State with the offense?
I think we just had a lot of missed opportunities. Things weren't clicking. I can't speak for a lot of other positions, but I know with the wide receivers, there's probably just a lot of missed opportunities for us. We need to clean up some drops. We need to clean up some decisions. But we'll improve from it.
Not a whole lot of people are probably going to pick you to win this game. Does that give you an extra drive heading into it?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have picked us to win a lot of games, and that's motivated us every time. So I think it's going to do a lot for us this time too.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. Linkon Cure from yesterday with the K-State media. Well, it leads me to my last point about, boy, if that offense, that showed up in Stillwater shows up to Rice-Eccles Stadium, this might not be good. And I'm going to be honest with you.
It'll be a 40-point game if the same offense from last Saturday shows up.
I'm going to be real with you right now how I feel about this offense going into Rice-Eccles Stadium. No Dylan Edwards, obviously. That's been for most of the year. No Jace Brown now. I'm not feeling too good about this. K-State obviously has to get pretty creative now about what to do game plan wise, or else Utah is going to. Utah has really something major to play for here. They're still trying to make the Big 12 championship game. They're still trying to obviously keep themselves on the bubble for the college football playoff. I don't know where they're going to be with this ranking that comes out between the games at the Champions Classic in Madison Square Garden. But, could this be the opportunity now for Linkon Cure to be more of an impact guy? Jace Brown's not getting the football. He's not on that field anymore for K-State. So now you got a couple of wide receivers that are your guys, right? J.B. Bradley's going to be back. The tight end is going to be needed.
Could be a coming out party in purple for Linkon.
It could be. Now, I don't necessarily have the prediction that it is going to be. I'm just giving you kind of this heads up that it could be. And honestly, if I'm somebody in charge over at Veneer about what to do, I'm finding ways to get Zero involved a little bit more, and to especially since he really hasn't been involved a ton with the ball actually going to him. Maybe this is a time where you kind of you draw up some things for your 5-star freshman to go be an athlete and go make some plays. We'll take a timeout, and we got a little Ask Us Anything coming up. Plus, we'll give you the answer to who the most hated. According to the newest survey, who's the most hated NFL franchise in 2025? We'll wrap up the show next.
Your home for K-State sports.
I told y'all, we'll get you one court storming. From here on out, expect to win.
This is The Game on News Radio, KMAN. ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
Say what you want about the Philadelphia Eagles offense and where it should be or should not be, but they may be the most complete team right now in the National Football League. It's easy to fall in love with the Los Angeles Rams for good reason, or the Denver Broncos for good reason, for the New England Patriots for good reason. All those teams have at least 8 wins, like the Philadelphia Eagles. For my money right now, the Philadelphia Eagles may have the best defense in the National Football League, and they have a complementary offense. It may not look like it did in the latter part of the season and in the postseason, but it's more than good enough the way that they're playing defense, have the kind of offense, not putting their defense on a short field, not making those kind of mistakes that offense have done before the great defenses and not win championships. Complain all you like. Go boo-hoo-hoo for the Eagles and their offense, but they're doing things exactly the way they're supposed to be, being a complementary football team, and that complementary football could lead them to another championship. In 60 seconds, new life for James Franklin.
Your fantasy roster is set, the Smack Talk is heating up, and this season, ESPN Bet is giving you more ways to ride with your squad. Introducing the ESPN Bet Fan Center, where you can instantly link and bet on your fantasy teams right in the ESPN Bet app. An enhanced sports betting experience only from ESPN Bet, the sportsbook for sports fans. Download the app and link your ESPN Bet and ESPN accounts to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/play.
There's no question it was the right hire by Virginia Tech to bring in James Franklin. He has been a proven commodity as a coach. He made Vanderbilt matter for just a little bit before Penn State came calling, and even though he did not win a national championship or make a national championship game, there's no doubt he completely flipped everything around and made Penn State matter and not just in the Big Ten, which is where Virginia Tech used to be, a team that mattered especially not just in the ACC, but on a national level. It's been a long, long time since they mattered like that when Frank Beamer was the head coach. But now you have James Franklin, who wants to prove to people at Penn State they made the wrong decision, moving on from him after all those preseason expectations, and they fell short once the regular season came around. But the best thing for James Franklin is whatever expectations will be at Virginia Tech will be nowhere near what he had to deal with at Penn State. And that may turn out well, not just for James Franklin, but Virginia Tech mattering again. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
News Radio, KMAN, weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 58 degrees with partly cloudy skies, wind out of the north at around 8 miles per hour. Tonight, a patchy fog between 2 and 9 in the morning with partly cloudy skies and an overnight low of 36. After the fog rolls out tomorrow morning, mostly sunny skies and a high of 63. Heading to tomorrow night, 30% chance of showers mainly after 11 p.m. On Thursday, mostly cloudy and a high near 63.
Alrighty. Number 1 TV show of all time, TV theme song of all time.
It's a great one.
I did a top 100 countdown last year, and Fresh Prince was number 1.
Rightfully so, too. I mean, iconic.
Guess who just made their first appearance made their first appearance after being fired as a head coach? Not James Franklin. I know he just got hired. Virginia Tech. Good hire, by the way.
To walk through him, Mike Gundy.
Mike Gundy. He did a video for the Oklahoma State hockey team. And here he did I think it was a cameo. 28 seconds of Gundy here.
Oklahoma State fans, I'm hearing we're a hockey school now. How about that? Oklahoma State hockey. You guys better get your tickets right now to Bedlam, February 28th. I need to come see that myself. I'm excited. I like me some hockey. I'm fired up. Go Pokes hockey. I love that.
And that's it. I'm glad he hasn't lost his charisma.
Oh, that's funny.
The club hockey team, they're actually playing at Tulsa against Oklahoma. They're playing at they're
the ones
there.
Who beat Creighton like 25-3 or something like that, I think.
No idea.
That went viral a couple of weeks ago.
The most hated fan base in the NFL, according to a new survey by Google. This is basically surfing the social medias and to see and the Google searches of what people are hating on these days. This is also by state.
Is there one for like nationwide? Like for total?
No, it breaks down by state, and then it's the number of total states.
Okay.
Who's hating on a particular team.
I think Eagles would be my guess.
The Eagles are number 1, 13 states. It includes Kansas, it includes Missouri. 13 states, the Philly Eagles. Who comes in at number 2? This is kind of a surprising one.
I don't even know if I have any good guesses. Maybe I'll throw like the Ravens out there or something.
Not the Ravens, the Raiders.
Raiders?
The Vegas Raiders. 8 states say they hate the Raiders the most.
Why does anyone even need to hate the Raiders?
Denver fans say they hate the Raiders.
Is it like Nevada hates the Raiders because they don't want them in their state?
No,
have
they
to
don't
watch
like the
that product?
Apparently they don't like the Rams out there. There's a tie for third for 6 states each. And again, one of them's a surprise, especially this day with how much they suck. But you have the Packers and the Jets.
Jets, I guess, like large market, and then Packer. I feel like I know a lot. Packers are probably the team that I know the most fans of outside of the Chiefs or the Broncos.
Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers are tied for 5th at 3 states apiece. Nobody, not one state majority-wise, said the Chiefs they hate the most. How about that?
I just find that hard to believe, but maybe that's just the posts that I see on social media is the anti-Chiefs ones.
Maybe
possible.
it's T Swift just not being shown as much anymore. She's not on tour.
She hasn't
now.
been going to the games as much, I don't think.
Ever since the engagement, everybody's like, "Oh, well, maybe this is cute."
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. We got a little Ask Us Anything, and then we got the Cats. K-State women playing tonight, 6 o'clock pregame.
Today, I want to get your driving pet peeve. For other people.
Jesus, where do I get started, Cole? I mean, you're talking about you've been in the car with me.
Yeah.
You tell me, what do I do? What do I hate?
You're the one that I've noticed the most is when someone is driving slow in the left lane.
Oh, ask Lindsay about that. If I ever pass somebody, I'm in the right lane, I will give them the thumbs down and start booing them.
You'll give them, if they're driving slow in the left lane, you'll give them a quick flash of the light. Say, get over, bub.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in a station vehicle. Mm-hmm. Could give me a little trouble, but, we got places to go. We got a game to call people.
We do.
Yes, I hate a slow driver, and if I'm stuck behind them, drives me nuts. Texting and driving drives me nuts, especially, like, when you're downtown, you're in a busy area.
Right.
People are on their phone. They're not paying attention. They, out of the starting gate on the red light, you're a little bit too slow. The not using the blinkers will get me fired up. But slow turning, taking your sweet ass time.
Sure.
Will get me fired up. There's a whole lot here, Cole.
I think this one, it's not even driving related. It's LED lights, like blinding me at night.
Oh, yeah,
I hate them. They're just really frustrating. I don't know. My lights aren't very powered, so I don't feel like I can get an upper hand. Like me flashing you is literally just you on normal.
Don't like loud exhausts,
Sure.
Nobody thinks you're cool if you have a loud exhaust.
No one.
Nobody thinks you're cool if you have a couple of subs in the trunk.
Nope. I agree with everything you said there. I mean, it was music to my ears. You're preaching to the choir.
Man, what else am I missing? I know there's something else.
I hate when people just ignore yield signs, or if they're on the interstate where they're not properly using the yield.
It may just be me, but I do feel like we're getting better with the roundabouts. I'm talking to the Manhattan drivers, which there's not a whole lot of good ones. We're getting better with the roundabouts. All right, we got to wrap it up. Full show tomorrow. Go Cats. See you tomorrow.
My name's Billy Segrist, and I had the pleasure of using interim hospice care for both my